Hey everyone. Welcome to Geek Side Chronicles. Today, I just want to talk about Battlefield 6. The game's been out for over a week now, probably closer to 2 weeks. And I just wanted to make this video kind of giving you I guess kind of a noob's perspective on the game. I'm not necessarily new to the Battlefield series as a whole. I've kind of dabbled in Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. I played a little bit of 2042 when it came out. So I'm not necessarily new to the franchise, but I would definitely consider this my first actual Battlefield game because this is the first kind of cycle, as far as when these games come out. And being able to kind of jump into them and kind of give an actual opinion on it. I've played the game for close to about 15 hours now. I've completed the first campaign mission, and I'm currently on the second mission. So this kind of, I guess, newbie review is gonna mainly be geared towards the multiplayer aspect, which I feel like that's kind of what you would probably want to buy this game for anyway. So I'll kind of tap on what I guess my first impressions on the single player as well, because I know a lot of people have kind of criticized the campaign, so I will just kind of touch on my brief impressions on that as well. So thank you for clicking on the video, and hope you enjoy it. So let's get into Battlefield 6 and my impressions as a newbie. Kind of, I guess, as far as this, once again being my first actual Battlefield game at launch. So the game's pretty damn good. I've dabbled into the bigger game modes, mainly Conquest, and I've definitely played some of the like deathmatch modes and stuff as well. The CQB or CQC modes as well, and the game's just extremely fun. I did play Black Ops 6 when it came out last year on Game Pass. Because I was not going to buy that game. I had an okay time with Black Ops 6. It was the first Call of Duty I played in a long time. And I thought Black Ops 6 was okay for what it was. It definitely didn't have that same magic as, let's say, like Black Ops 3. I think that's probably the last Call of Duty game that I actually played when it came out and everything, and I just kind of stayed away from the franchise after that, because I just didn't really care for what they were doing with it. This game, compared to, let's say, modern Call of Duty, like a Black Ops 6, I know Black Ops 7 is about to be out very soon. This game absolutely blows whatever Black Ops 6 was doing, whatever Call of Duty's looking at doing with Black Ops 7 from what it's looking like. I know a lot of fans of Battlefield have, really not liked the last game, 2042, because it was kind of, I guess, Call of Duty-fying it a little bit. I thought that game was okay, but yeah, it definitely wasn't as fun as previous Battlefield games like 3 and 4, for example. I know those are, the high points of the series. I really enjoy the older Battlefield games, so I think it's like 1942 and Vietnam. I actually own those physically on PC. You can get a physical release of those games that work off the disc. So that's kind of like where I come from as far as my experience with the franchise. And Battlefield 6 here is just awesome. Graphically, this game is amazing. Everything from being an engineer, and riding on the back of a tank, and helping keep the tank going through the match as you're going around the command post and capturing them. um, the close quarters combat modes. A lot of people don't like those modes, because that's not what Battlefield is to them. But I've been enjoying those modes quite a bit. Just being able to go in and kind of, you know, rack up kills and kind of get immediate action. But what I've really been enjoying about Battlefield 6 is just the whole atmosphere. Like when you're playing this game, it feels like you are in a war zone. You can hear jets fly overhead. Like if it's coming from the left, in the sky, you can hear it just kind of come overhead, and fly by. You can hear explosions off in the distance. Your troops around you everywhere calling out, and just it feels like you're in actual war. And when you're playing a game like this, that's kind of the experience you want. Like this is a video game at the end of the day. Like obviously it's not it's not a real thing, but to be able to kind of simulate that, with I think it's up to like 64 players if I'm not mistaken. Up to 64 other players, and you're actually tackling these command posts and trying to, recapture them if they're captured, or if it's neutral, to go capture it and try to just hunker down and defend it. It's just everything you would come to for a game like this, and I feel like veterans of the series have been pretty happy with this game coming out. I feel like a lot of people that aren't happy with the game are a lot of Call of Duty players. And, that's valid. But if you're looking for games that have like kill streaks, and you want just like constant, engagement of, you want like very fast, like spammy movement and stuff like that. That's kind of what you would go to Call of Duty for at this point. Maybe not Battlefield, You play Battlefield for the atmosphere, for the experience of being a part of a team, being part of a squad. And that's just what I love about this game, is just you feel like you are a part of a greater battle, I've been running the support class mainly. I've really enjoyed, being able to pull out the defibs and run around the map and quickly, get people back up on your team and get them back into battle. Being able to throw out and resupply ammo and health to teammates, throwing up, like little mini walls, to where people can kind of hide behind, and just. I've dabbled in like recon and assault and engineer and stuff like that too. Engineers are obviously vital for like when tanks come out and everything. So, basically every class has a function. It feels like, as far as downsides to that system, at least when it comes to this game, my personal opinion is, it feels like when, especially tanks, I would say, show up, you're kind of defenseless if you're not playing it as an engineer. Like, it's best to just try to avoid them as best as possible and hope someone on your team, which there's obviously got to be with as many players, that are on, like, especially with Conquest and stuff like that, you need to let those players handle the tank. You can kind of help them get set up, resupply, what have you. Either that or get into the only like really real way you can kind of fight back, I guess, if you're not playing as an engineer, is to like man a turret or something, or get into a tank yourself, or if you're in aircraft or something like that. But that's kind of, I guess, my first criticism is, I know in like previous Battlefield games, it felt like you were a little bit more equipped to handle kind of any situation as a class. Obviously, your class was still geared to a specific scenario or a specific role on the team, right? But it feels like in this game, kind of At least the previous experience I've had with the series so far, and in past games, you felt like you had a way to kind of sort of help fight back. In this game, as of right now, it kind of feels like you can't do it as much. The only other downside, the only criticism I have is aiming. You know, I've kind of looked around the internet and everything, and have seen where people have been saying that whenever you go to kind of aim and fire at enemies, a target or whatever, your bullets kind of just don't necessarily hit where they're supposed to. I believe it's called bloom. And there's been a few games where I've had like a target right in front of me, and there is no way in hell that I should have missed, or not gotten the kill. But for some reason, it's like my bullets just do not hit at all, So I don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully EA can get that sorted out. And the only other negative I can kind of give the game at this point in time is just overall the vehicle handling. I do play mouse and keyboard, so that might be a contributing factor, but they're not really being in official mode for like learning how to fly planes and whatnot. Whenever you kind of hop into an actual land vehicle, it just doesn't really control too well, so it makes me not even want to mess with the vehicles at all. Also, on a side tangent real quick, because I know this has been an issue for a lot of other people, is the maps not being super big. Me personally, it's not a huge deal for me, but I'm also not a Battlefield veteran, so I do like how you're never too far away from some kind of conflict, some kind of action, and I wonder if that was kind of maybe their thought when they made this game, was like, let's not do the 2042 thing where it's like, let's not try to imitate Call of Duty, but let's go back to the basics, the Battlefield formula that everyone knows and loves, but let's not make the maps too big, because we don't want people losing, we don't want people's attention spans kind of going off, I'm wondering if that was maybe the mindset here. Could be entirely wrong, but I know a lot of people have been complaining about the map sizes. As someone who, once again, has not had a crazy long history with the series, I'm okay with the maps as of right now. I think there's one called like Sorbreck City that I'm not really a fan of, because it might as well just be named Sniper City. Like, if you're not playing anything other than recon and you do not man like atop of a building, you're screwed on that map. Like, it's just way too close quartered. Snipers, especially if you're a good sniper, you're just getting kills all day long. Like, you're absolutely locking it down, throwing away the key. So that was kind of a lengthy little negative section there. But overall, going back to the positives, that's kind of it on the negatives as of right now for this video. The game just overall awesome. Sound design, awesome atmosphere to this game, and it's just awesome to feel like you're being, a part of a military squad, going into a conflict, fighting it with your teammates, with your band of brothers, and just going in and getting stuff done, man. It's an awesome experience, in my opinion. And someone, like I said, who's kind of a noob-ish to this series, I think this is, in my opinion, I'm not upset at the money I spent on this game. It's been a blast so far. So to briefly touch on the campaign of what I've played so far, it's been okay so far. It's not bad. Like I said, I'm only on the second mission, so to briefly touch on it, not to get too in depth with the story, but basically, NATO is basically at war with this organization, I guess you could call them, named PAX. That's not the full name, but I forget it at the top of my head right now. But all that aside, basically you play as I believe it's a sergeant named Murphy that is kind of stationed on a base with his squad, and this military organization kind of surprise attacks, and everything goes to hell, and you are kind of the last hope for this troop that is on this base, and you're trying to make it out and everything. I thought the intro mission was pretty solid, you know. If it's any indication of what the rest of the campaign will be, which from what I'm hearing is not really the case, but just on its own merit alone, I think the first mission is pretty awesome. The second mission kind of goes into another character named Gecko, and you're kind of like a sniper basically that is going in and infiltrating and taking out these like military like turrets or just equipment, and you're kind of going in and infiltrating and just taking these weapons out, and that's kind of where I'm at right now with it. So far, it's okay. It's not bad. But yeah, I don't think, like I said, you should buy this for the campaign. Definitely buy this game for the multiplayer. So yeah, with that, I think that is going to be the end of this video. If I went on a tangent or whatnot, I'm sorry. Like I said, this is kind of I'm kind of new to all this YouTube stuff, so maybe I'll be able to get kind of my thoughts together better in the future with videos going forward. So thank you very much for tuning into this. Like I said, so far this game's been a blast. If you're still on the fence about buying this game, at the current price, I think it is worth it personally, but if you're kind of on the fence and not sure, maybe just wait till it drops off $10, $20 in the upcoming months, you know, and then kind of hop in then. So, but yeah, thank you guys if you watched this far into the video. If you feel like liking the video, I would greatly appreciate that, as well as subscribing. Thank you in advance for that as well. And yeah, catch you guys in the next video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.